Thank you, everybody, for coming. I'm so proud to see you all here. Thank you all. Yeah. Round of applause for yourselves.
Thanks for not making us feel embarrassed.
Yeah. And thank you guys for coming as well. So we'll start with a few intros. So Sue DL from News Talk 770, which is affiliated with Global. So with more than 25 years as a radio announcer and 2 years as host of her own TV show, Sue DL loves being behind the microphone, entertaining people. Sue is currently the morning show host on 770 CHQR, doing talk radio alongside Gord Gillies, who is an MRU grad as well, who really wanted to be here today, but unfortunately, I asked Sue first, so. Next time. Sue runs her own Master of Ceremonies business called Professional MC, is the co-owner of sportsbras.ca, is on the board of directors for Women Talk Canada, and is also a very busy wedding officiant. I didn't know that. Her extracurricular talents include chocolate eating, red wine drinking, and her favorite being a mom to her 2 young kids, Alexandra, 12, and Luke, 9.
Aww.
Awesome. And right next to Sue, we have Taylor McNally. Taylor McNally is a Saskatchewan-born girl who made her way to Alberta in 2001. After landing her first gig with Canada Rocks Live, she knew this was exactly what she was meant to do. Taylor has approximately 400 interviews under her belt and has covered a large variety of music and entertainment events, including festivals such as Shambhala Music Festival, and the Juggalo Festival as well, 420 Fest.
Yeah.
Lots,
oh my God.
Lots of fun ones.
So many questions.
Taylor also helps with the organization of many local events and concerts, assists a number of musicians and small businesses with digital marketing and promotions, and just recently began a new podcast called Taylor Made Radio, made to showcase and support local musicians of all ages and genres. A true Jill of all trades within Canada's music and entertainment scene, Taylor McNally.
That was badass. I didn't write shit. I'm like, I've been on radio 13 years.
You didn't fill yours up with stuff?
Oh, man. Can you just throw in I have a dog?
Now the tweet changes real quick. Yeah.
You want to go after?
Yeah.
And just to confuse you guys, next to Taylor is Taylor Daniels. So Taylor Daniels is originally from Vancouver, BC. He started with the Jim Pattison Broadcast Group in Nanaimo on Vancouver Island in 2013 and has been in Calgary since 2014. Most currently the assistant music director and midday host with the Kristen and Taylor Show at Cool FM. Do you want to add anything to that?
She said to keep it to a couple lines. I don't know, that was just on our email only, but I got a dog.
You have a wife.
I met my wife as an intern on my first job ever. So was that kind of cool?
There you go.
Isn't that a rule? Isn't
Yeah.
Your turn.
And last but not least, Christy Farrell. So Christy Farrell also started radio 14 years ago, and she street teamed with K97 at Edmonton, which was the best job ever.
I got Alice Cooper Diet Coke my first shift on the street team. Alice Cooper. When I was like, when you're coming over and you're going to be listening to Alice Cooper all the time. That sounded creepier than I wanted it to. But.
And after Christy was done school, she worked in Fort St. John, Grand Prairie, and then the Okanagan for the majority, and now almost 3 years at Cool 101.5 as well. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Do you want to add anything else?
I have a bulldog named Angus Beef. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's a pretty big deal.
So first question for you guys, and you can go in any order. What inspired you to get into this field?
Want me to go first?
Yeah.
We used to call the K-Rock in Edmonton when we were in school and request songs to Melissa Wright, who was there for like 30 years. She just got fired. Yeah, right? I mean, she got hired again
Radio
right away.
surprise.
Don't worry, it happens. But I just loved it. I loved calling in, and I was always like, the magic of when the announcer would like start a song before they'd said what the song is, and then all of a sudden it's like, how did they do that? Right? So that's why I got into it. I always loved radio from when I was little. Mm-hmm. Follow that, Taylor.
I can try and follow that. No, my dad, this is really cool. So my family owns an entertainment like DJ company in the Lower Mainland where I'm from. So from like the age of 12, I was like assisting all the DJs and my dad at like weddings and bar mitzvahs and corporate parties. And my dad, 30 years before that, took the same radio program that I ended up taking. So I knew immediately, like from his circle of friends, he's like, oh yeah, this guy's on Sportsnet, and this person works in Edmonton, this person works in Vancouver. So I was always kind of around it. And then when it came time for what I wanted to do, I looked at my brother's grades and everything he was doing, and then I looked at my transcript, and I was like, man, this would be so much easier. So I went to radio. I knew I wanted to always do something that kind of brought entertainment, and I love music, and I love going out to events and meeting new people, and said, what could marry all of my passions? And it ended up being radio. So that's how I kind of got into it.
For me, it was more, I spent a lot of time in the local music scene. I have a lot of friends who are musicians and venue owners, and it's kind of not seeing them, especially in Calgary, being valued and appreciated for all their hard work that they're putting in. So trying to find a way to really support and showcase local artists, and then branching out Canada-wide as well. So it's just been different tiers of how I can do that, and putting everything together in a way that it works somehow.
You make it work.
Yeah.
I grew up in Toronto listening to 1050 Chum AM, because it's really all there was back in the day. That's how old I am. And I loved music. I loved listening to radio. I loved listening to the announcers, and I used to picture the bands all lining up on Yonge Street to go in one at a time and do their song, and then they'd leave out one door and then the next band. That's how I envisioned songs being played on the radio. That's what I thought was going on when I was a little kid. And it just kind of grew from there. I just always loved listening to the announcers as much as I liked the music. And I went to university, got a degree, didn't know what I wanted to do, and when I realized that there was actually a television and radio broadcasting course at college, it was like a lightning bolt that hit me, and I just knew that's what I was supposed to do.
Cool.
So it sounds from that story in particular that you probably knew from a young age that you wanted to do this. Is that similar for all of you guys, or did you figure this out halfway through your life and you're like, oh wait, this is cool, I like this?
Yeah, and I think it's forever growing. Like, everyone always asks what's your end goal with what you're doing, and I definitely don't have an end goal, because when I think of that, it's like that's just what I'm going to do. That's the end of it. And I think everything's always evolving and growing and changing, and just allowing that to happen. And definitely music based.
Yeah, I think you definitely know what sort of skill sets you have from a younger age, and like what is naturally an ability that you have. Like, maybe you love, like if someone's like, hey, we need someone to MC this event, you're like, I can do that. Or you're okay with meeting new people. Like, I wanted to be a cruise director at one point.
That would be so
The reason was, though, is because
Love boat? Is it because of the Love boat?
Exactly. If you take away the microphone and the radio side, you're getting up in front of people every night. You're making people smile. And if it's like, meet people, make them smile, you can find that in a lot of careers. You can find that as a lawyer if you want, depending on who you're representing.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, what other forms and outlets can I express myself? And then it all eventually just bubbled down the line to like radio. Also, because Carnival Cruise Line said no. I was too young. It's fine. Whatever. I'm over it. But yeah, just find what makes you happy and kind of see what jobs are out there.
Yeah. Do you want me to? I feel like I already answered. Yeah, I wanted to. I knew I wanted to be in radio young. Yeah. And I tried TV. I wanted to be a sports broadcaster. I played hockey for a long time, so I really wanted to be on TSN. And then I just, when it actually came down to the television program, I just froze in front of the camera. It wasn't good. It was lots of sweating. And then I love radio, so I was like, easy. I'll just switch.
So radio's not as sweaty.
Radio's easy. I roll out of bed, like
yeah.
I'm sure Sue, mornings, like there's no.
Fair.
You don't have to look
Is
pretty.
this all radio? You guys are all not
Radio
TV,
and
just
TV, right?
both?
So
Are
we're
you
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So here for our broadcasting program, we do both.
Who wants to go into radio?
Who's wearing sweatpants right now?
Aw, that's a good answer.
Who wants to go into TV?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are open to what
Comes.
you can get.
Yeah.
And radio helps you with TV. TV will help you with radio.
I'm like Christy. I wanted to go into TV,
Yeah.
and then I went to schools, and no.
And it was like, no,
I like
no.
radio.
I did
You hide behind
weather.
the microphone.
Yeah.
Right?
You can-
They had maybe do weather at Global in the Okanagan when I was living there. I was like a fill-in, and that is stressful. TV is like stressful.
Yeah.
It's easier, I think, for
I think.
us. Well, I think it's easier for us to talk in front of people that we can actually see. But when it's a camera and you know people are listening, but the irony is, though, in radio, a lot of what we do now,
It's on video.
It's on video.
Yeah.
It's documented.
Yeah.
So like, you guys are very lucky, and even like the last 10 years where it's evolved with social media. Back in the day, though, it was like, nope, radio or TV, and now it's
Yeah.
like whatever you do online affects you on air, and vice versa.
You can do all of it, though. You can do all of it.
Sure can.
How did you guys first get your foot in the door in broadcasting?
I interviewed Melissa Wright for my career investigation, and she's like, let's get you a fucking job. And she walked me in the back, and I started the next weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. I feel like a lot of people are like that in media. radio, whichever, they're ready to help because they know how difficult
Big
it
time.
can be, and they know it's cutthroat. Firings, look at Bell right now, right? Like, our friends are losing their jobs. Like but people will help, and you meet and you connect. We don't work for the same company, but we're buddies. Like,
Start now,
Meet,
networking
connect,
with people.
yes.
Network. Ask people to be your mentor. Ask
Yeah.
multiple people to be your mentor and get your foot in the door, because in this business, it is not necessarily about how good you are when you first start. It's who's going to give you that shot.
Yeah.
Industry is
yes,
very cutthroat.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
about who you know sometimes.
yeah,
And to piggyback on that, it's not about who you know at an age where you have a certain skill set. I was fortunate enough where like you guys might have to go and take a practicum or an internship. In my specific program, I didn't have to get one until my second year, but I took one after my first year. The full circle on this, the people that hired me for that internship 6 years later are now my bosses. So when they came in and had to make some cuts of people that just didn't fit what the new vision was, they're like, hey, you are one of our interns and you've gone through and you kept sending us demos and you've kept networking.
And you worked your ass off when you were there, and you did every job and everything they
Yeah.
ask you to do. If it's cleaning the floor, you clean
Yeah.
the floor.
So the person in promo is now the program director, and the person
Yeah.
who was just the PD of one station is now the consultant for metro markets of the entire Jim
Yeah.
Pattison group. So it's literally like such a small industry, never burn bridges and always say yes.
And just to punctuate.
well, don't always
Don't
say
always
yes.
say yes.
Don't actually
Yeah,
scratch the.
You knew what I meant.
Like, you know what
that
kind
part,
of
edit
situation
that
you
out.
put yourself in.
I don't say no to anything.
it's true. I've heard that about
We
it.
do.
So just to punctuate what the panel is saying too, for everyone who's like joining us from second or first year, we have had 2 other panels in third year, and this has been like the 2 takeaways is don't be an asshole,
Yeah.
be nice, and meet people. So everyone's on the same page. It seems like pretty solid advice from everybody in the industry
what
so
these guys
far.
said, it's a small world.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows each
Yes.
other, and
Oh,
you
my
do
goodness.
you do not ever burn a bridge, ever,
Yes.
ever. You walk out the door with your head held high. If you get fired, that's the way it is in this business.
Cry in your car.
And they wait till you get to the car to cry, and then
Yeah.
they may hire you back 2 years
Yeah.
down the road.
And you never know who's going to be your boss.
Yeah.
So,
So don't talk about
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Cool. So to switch gears a little bit, what does your day-to-day look like in your careers? I know it's gonna be a fun one for you. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
What time do you roll out of bed?
Well, I start at 6 because I have the little one who's up there. She's
Yeah.
mine. So I got to get her ready for school.
Hi, Kaylee.
Hi, Kaylee. She will also be on TV one day. Her personality is insane. And I do just so many things. So like I started with this small company called Canada Rocks Live, and we actually did some work with CJ, and it was an idea of this big company bringing big artists in and then mixing it with local artists to try and get them seen. And our first show was actually in this small 150 capacity venue in this little warehouse in the southeast, and we brought Biff Naked, and then we added a few local people in, and it was amazing. And then I started doing interviews there as on-air personality, and then kind of went from there. So I do a lot of video interviews still, so I just kind of travel Canada for events and festivals doing that. And so I still do that here with a lot of local artists. Right now I'm doing the tailor-made radio, so the last 2 months, literally every day I do 2 interviews a day to get that ready, and I have content ready till like March right now. And so I come home and I do a lot of editing, and I do branding and marketing for local musicians and small businesses. So I'm usually building websites and getting all their social media done. And
So a busy day.
It's
Without
busy,
a
like,
set.
there's-
From 7 to 8, I do this, and from 8 to
oh
9.
no, like in my life, that's another thing. You know, I've been a single mom for 7 years, so it's really hard to keep that standard 9 to 5 and have that structure. I need to be able to just do whatever, and that structure kind of drives me nuts. I need things to be changing all the time. So yeah, the day's kind of all over the place, and I just kind of take whatever happens and go with it.
Cool. For the rest of you, day to day,
Sue?
what it looks like?
I'm now in talk radio, and we are 5:30 to 9:30, so 4 hours solid of talk. So there's a lot of prep involved. So day before, we'll line up interviews, maybe do an odd pre-tape if we can for the next morning, give you a little breathing room within those 4 hours. But on day of, I get up at 3, at work for 4, roll out, well, maybe 3:20.
Yeah, that's better.
At work, my
I was
alarm
like-
goes off at 3.
It's like when I go to sleep.
No, it's not right, is it? So I get to work for 4, and we just start prepping, because it's all about what's happening that day, right? What's going on that day. Not to say that we don't watch what's trending on all the social medias to see if, we'll flip and follow that direction, but you've got to have enough talk to fill little breaks, longer breaks. We set up interviews the day before, sometimes on the fly, day of. So it's all about just kind of being current, knowing what's going on, watching the news so you're aware and smart enough to talk about things, which I'm still catching on with that part of it. And it's a busy morning. And then at 9:30, we finish, we have a meeting, we talk about what went right, what went wrong, plan what's going to happen the next day, do interviews, repeat.
He wants more wine, and he's like shaking his head while you're talking, Sue. It's rude.
Was I
Well, you
boring you?
Sue an
Was I
apology.
boring
No,
you?
I actually got, when you said 3 a.m., I got tired for a second. And I did the math.
Me too.
It's 5 o'clock now, so
Yeah.
what time do you go to bed at?
Yeah.
Well, I have 2 kids who
Yeah.
don't want to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I have to nap during the day, and I go to bed usually at 9.
That's
So I'm
why I asked for
perpetually
more
tired.
wine, to say, like,
Yeah.
cheers to that.
Yeah.
I could lean up
Impressive.
against that
Amazing.
wall and go to sleep right now.
I can't imagine. I'm childless, so I only have a dog to take care of. Like, I can't imagine doing morning radio and having a child. Like, it's tough to even take care of yourself, but it's fun. I get up at like between 4 on Fridays, like before 4:50, and then we're prepped the day before. We prep in the afternoon and go to work. First break's at 5:30. So work. Go to the gym, go shopping. I don't have any other obligations.
Morning radio is awesome. Not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
and this is a sweet shift. Like, if
Morning radio
anything,
is
you have your
awesome.
whole day to do whatever. It's pretty magical. Like,
Really is.
everyone says getting up sucks. It's not that bad. And then you have this whole, you do whatever
get
you
used
want
to
all
it.
day, and then you can
You get
take a
used to it.
second job, do something else, or yeah, it's just that.
It is magical.
It is magical. Yeah,
It's pretty awesome.
yeah.
I get up at 7:30.
Too late to do anything,
When
apparently.
Sue is in the middle of her show.
You're almost ready
I
to
am
go
up.
home for a nap, and you're just rolling out.
No, well, so on air, I'm middays, 10 a.m. till 3 o'clock. It's a great time slot for a lot of things, but I also do the music programming for the station. So I'm the assistant music director. My boss, our boss, Amanda, she's the program director and the music director. So I do one half the music, it gets sent to Amanda, she does the other half of the music, it gets sent to one other person. More people's eyes that you can get on it means less things fall through the crack. And the cool thing about, the music has it's
With a
different-
K.
With a K, don't forget the K. Yeah. The music is a little different than some other stations where we have the flexibility to do what we want. So that's why, like, when one person gets to do the music and it's just one person, it's a lot of their taste. Where there's 3 of us, we can groom it a certain way, and it's always different every single day, even though the songs might be similar. It's just a different rotation. So I'll get into the station at about 8 a.m. I will work on music and my responsibilities there. I will send it off to Amanda. Then I hop into a studio and I actually do the midday show for a station in Lethbridge. So I record my voice and I do 10 to 2 there. So I'll do that at about 8:30 till 9. And then at 9, I'll meet with Kristen and we'll prep until about 10. We'll meet with our boss. We'll hop into the studio with Christy and Fraser. We'll talk to them about the day. We'll have some fun. And then at 10 a.m., we hit the air running. And we're on until 3, and then usually from 3 until 3:30, we'll...
Like, you're very thorough.
I know.
Like, I feel like I did a really
Yeah.
crappy job
No.
explaining my job.
No, I don't know. And then, from 3 to 3:30, I'll either meet with Amanda or I'll do more music stuff and send it ready for the day. So the music always works days ahead, and then the on-air stuff is current. I also just like to hang out at work because
It's cool.
yeah, it's fun.
It's true.
With a K.
With a K. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So for Sue and Taylor, you especially talked about being a single mom, having kids that will keep you up. How do you guys manage your work-life balance? Knowing, like, broadcasting, I feel like we all get the message that it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. It's not like a 9 to 5 that you can just go home and relax. Like, you got to keep at it. How do you guys find the balance in your work life?
I'm still learning. I mean, maybe I can learn some stuff from Sue. Like, I've been doing it for 7 years, but things are constantly changing, and not only are you changing, your life is changing, but they're growing and changing every day too. And it's a difficult thing. I'm still learning and trying to figure it out. And same with friends and relationships, and how do you balance anything in your life? So I do try, because I don't have those times where I have to do things in certain times. I'll just make sure like by 9 or 10, you know, okay, I'm not on the laptop anymore. I got to get off, because I'll sit there until 4 o'clock in the morning and keep working. I won't stop. But yeah, just having that self-discipline to give that time to your friends and family where you need it.
I have advice for you.
Yeah, please.
Get a wife.
Oh, no, I don't want. You don't have time for a wife or a man either. I'm fine with that. I will do it myself.
I was super lucky because I've been doing morning radio for 20 plus years.
What
Why
was
are you
that?
laughing at that?
Sorry, Carlos, would you like to have a comment?
Let's turn the cameras around real quick.
Carlos has some
On the
stuff to
spot.
say.
Should we make him stand in the corner?
Yeah.
Sing some Alice Cooper.
Anything to share with the class?
Punishment?
No, just the work balance is intriguing me because I'm having actually a tough time.
Nice save.
No, because I have my assignments. I like to work on my own radio show, and then I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time with my girlfriend, and it's like I'm trying to balance all.
It's
this
hard.
out.
It's
Just
hard.
forget what she said. Drop the girlfriend. You know,
Mariah, she's right there. She's right there.
He pointed to it.
But then wait a minute. Then you have time to do your thing too.
She might drop you first if she catches wind of this.
Girlfriend.
Luckily, we go to school and work together.
Yeah, that was a good
Oh,
thing.
that,
Yeah, it wasn't like a casual point. It was a direct point.
I could not
You
work.
blew that.
I know I
You blew
did.
that.
I'll just see myself out. Fine. Shit.
You know what? Having a partner, if you have one, it works. It actually helps you. I mean, like I started to say, I've been in morning radio for 20 years, and so I'm lucky. I have a wife who gets up in the morning. She works. She's got her own businesses, so she works from home, so she can look after the kids. I go to work, I do my thing, I come home, she goes out and does whatever she needs to do. And then I put the kids to bed at night.
So can you just
that's
like
how we
find and order someone just to like do the kid
You
thing?
can.
Like, I don't want to date them. Like, just-
Apparently there's an app for that.
is there?
Craigslist.
I don't know.
Craigslist, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Tinder?
Yeah, I think I feel like
I don't
Craigslist
know.
is probably a dangerous place to go for that.
Like
can't
Kijiji.
You're just gonna stay with Brad
I don't know
today.
about this yet, but they have two mat leave programs at our work at Pattison. They have the offer, you take your year, 18 months now, as you can take, but our company also offers, if you're worried about taking that year off and you want your job, you can come back after 3 months and they give you a chunk of money.
That is sweet.
So they give you an option, yeah.
I didn't have that option.
You don't get, well, you have paternal leave, I guess, but like,
Wow.
but you didn't, but I like that they do
Equality
that
in
because
2018,
taking
right?
a year off on your show is
You
a
can't.
big deal.
You
It
don't
is
get
your
shit.
career, and then how do you pick?
You can't. You
know?
can't do
That's
it.
why
Yeah.
I work for myself. That's why
If
I
you
love
have
it.
mornings,
Yeah.
you can't leave and have a baby and go for a year. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
I took
options.
3 months with my first
Yeah.
child and I think 4 with the other. And I regret it, but
Yeah,
you can't leave for a year. Can't walk
Yeah.
away from a radio show because you, the listeners, will not remember who I am when
No.
you come back. And for fear that the person who's replacing you kicks your ass and
Totally.
is better than you, now you're hooped because now they want that person. So it's a tough one. And ladies, that is something you'll have to think about.
yeah. You see a lot
But
of women
that is a
get
fact of life.
placed differently when they come back from mat leave. It's like one of the irritating things about it. It's not
Yep.
evolved really, you know?
So I mean, I feel we've got 3 ladies on this panel. We've got a pretty
sit back a little bit,
diverse
yeah.
panel. You can still comment.
He's got a sensitive side.
You have a
Yeah,
dog.
I mean, as far as all like the family talk and stuff like that, you say that you regret not taking more time off to talk to be with your kids.
Yeah.
Would you go back and change it and give up a bit of your career?
Oh, thank you, God. You know what?
Especially with this question.
Would I change it? Probably not. I would probably do the same thing over again because, when you're in morning radio and you're doing really well, it's just something that you have to live with. And I regret it, but would I change it? Probably not. What are you guys doing?
Who's this man?
Don't worry about it.
The professors have arrived.
Okay, I'm sorry, sound person, but I am the only one on this panel who's over 50 having a hot flash.
We'll fix
is
you
hot.
up. No worries.
Sorry, sound person. Apologize for that.
Any
Hi, Conan.
questions from the audience at all at this moment? Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask right now? Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
So going from like managing and you guys said at the beginning like having a good reference and not burning the bridge is everything. Where I was kind of employed during the summer, I found that it was kind of taking over my life, like working there, because you don't want to get that bad reference. So I was kind of wondering what you guys would say for someone who's starting on a job so they don't want a bad reference, and how they kind of manage given that situation, sort of thing.
Just be you and do a good job, and you'll get a good reference. I don't.
Where were you working? I need more details.
What's happening?
I was rated at a local community channel in Brandon, Manitoba.
Yeah.
And I just found like they're really understaffed because it's community programming. It's not really a big thing anymore. So like I think I worked 21 days straight.
Yeah, well,
and
no, you need to learn to say no.
It's just
Or get rid of your friends because they're a distraction holding you back.
Yeah.
Get rid of the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm so sorry.
I think, you said earlier you have to kind of suck it up and do what
Yeah.
they ask you to do, but you don't also have to be slave labor,
No.
right? And you don't have to work that many days, and I didn't take that in school, but I'm pretty certain
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to work that many days in a row, unless you're getting extra pay or time, somehow, some way, but you don't have to do that.
I wish I
You're-
learned to
you're-
say no earlier.
Yeah,
like
me
because
too.
I got stuck. My first job at Fort St. John, I was like doing music. My PD would leave at 9 a.m. to go get baked and go for breakfast, and then he'd dump me with music. So I had to take all that on, and then doing my own show, and then coming in on weekends. Oh, I'm going to be away. Come in, and then you're like, you
you
have
don't
that
think you can
pressure
say
to be
no.
like, yes, 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 eager, but
Yeah.
you have to say no. I mean, and then bring up your mental health. What are they going to say?
So without,
Actually, I need a me day.
but that's a good point though, because without getting really dark, a couple
Yeah.
of years back, there was an intern who actually lost his life.
Yeah.
He never said no, and not because like he wasn't strong enough to say no, because like when you're trying so hard for an internship, you're not getting paid, and it's all about the impression that you
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
He got thrown onto overnights. He texted his girlfriend being like, "Yeah, like I don't know how much more I can do about this,"
Yeah.
and he worked like I don't know the exact amount of hours, but he left. He I think fell asleep at the wheel.
42 hours driving home from
Yeah.
an event, an overnight morning show event. So he sat up all night and then drove home in the morning.
And he
Yeah.
ran into another car, got hit by a car, and he died. So on one side you have that. On the other side, though, in this industry, if you can't be you, then why be anyone else but yourself? You got into this industry to be like, you have something important to say, so go say it. But if someone's just like, you're just like the intern, and you don't even get your name
Yeah.
attached to that, and you're not a personality, like
No.
You go to the next person up or the next person
Yeah.
up, whoever you think you can do that comfortably with, and just say, I love what I'm doing here. I'm happy to do everything you give me, but it's a bit much and I need a day off or something.
Yeah.
You gotta.
You don't want that
You need to learn to
reference.
stand up
Yeah.
for yourself too, or they will take advantage of you.
Anyone else? Yeah, Chris.
So I realize how important networking is in this industry as a whole, but it seems like the easiest way to network is to accept a job from somewhere. But I guess it's hard to network before you've got that first job. So like, what other places or like, what other opportunities do you think we have to network?
Social media, huge. Go friend everybody in this industry, in this city, outside of the city. Research radio stations or a part of the country where you think you might want to start. Don't assume you're going to start in Calgary or Toronto or Vancouver. Go small. Find stations, find people who are there, who are the important ones that you think might be able to help you out. Friend them, message them, talk to them, ask them to help you. People are very willing to help you out. Very willing to help you out.
And for me, because everything's so involved with music, for me, it's literally going out to shows and meeting people and shaking hands, because Canada is just so small. Like, I'll be here and then I go to Montreal and I run into people all the time. And everyone's so connected, so you don't know who you meet when you're out. And so if you have some time to go out to events or anything related in connection with what you're doing, that's really important too. Face-to-face is so big too.
Yeah. So it's a really cool roadmap in this industry of like, you might meet us and we're all in Calgary, but your journey might not start in Calgary. But if you go and meet someone who's in like Trail, BC, or in Nanaimo, eventually by the time you get to Nanaimo, they've gotten to a bigger market. And then by the time you get to that market they were in, they've gotten to a major market. And now when someone says, hey, what's so-and-so like? They're like, oh my gosh, I've known this guy for 6 years and we've been sending each other air checks. And it starts here in this classroom
Yep.
where like when we say like, you don't know who's gonna be your boss, in 15 years from now, actually though, like if you don't get along with him but he doesn't like her, it's like, you might wanna fix that, right? Networking starts every time you say hello to somebody. You'll
Yeah.
always be like, oh, I know that person.
It's a small world.
It's so
Yeah.
true.
And
it
getting
is.
smaller, because
Yeah.
there are only really a few, like 4 or 5 companies now that
Yep.
own everything. And it's multiple stations owned by, just a handful of companies. So you will meet up with people and it is a small world, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
don't burn bridges.
I would always reach out to like program directors for me in radio and stuff and send my demo and be like, be as vicious as you want. I'm looking for help. And I did that. Some wouldn't give you the time of day, and that's cool. Just remember who they are. And then and some are amazing, like are really kind and take time with you. And it's like writing an essay, right? Not everyone's gonna like your style. They're not all gonna like you. So take it with a grain of salt and just move on. But you at least reached out. At least you tried. You're putting yourself on the line, which is kind of what this job is about.
And follow up,
exactly.
right? Don't just
Yeah.
don't just throw something out there. Oh, they didn't call me. Follow up. Follow up again. Don't be a dink and follow up too many times, but follow up and ask for help. If you're honest about why you're searching them out, most people will help you.
Put you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Connect you.
Somehow, some way.
So what have been some of your guys' highlights of your careers? Like, what was your favorite job? I know for you, Christy, but what have been your favorite jobs and what made it the best for you? What made it the best experience?
We got to do a Dream Lift Day in the Okanagan, which was amazing. So like you get to do fun stuff, and you're expected. You do a lot of charity stuff, and you put yourself like it's a part of it. But going on this Dream Lift Day was incredible because like these kids are dying, and they got to go without their parents, and we go to Disneyland. So we get on a flight in the morning, and each kid has a team of nurses. Their parents aren't allowed to come. The one rule is you can't say no to these kids, and like they're all dying. So you kind of like gotta bite yourself from sobbing in front of them because it's heavy, but you get to go on the plane and then you take them to Disneyland and they get to go front of line. And that was probably the coolest thing I've ever gotten to do and hang out with the kids and like, you have to like take moments to like, oh my God, I'm a shitty person. And I come back and that was probably the highlight so far, besides Alice Cooper, but
And that was first day, remember that?
That was first day. First job, first day, Alice Cooper. Yeah.
Now I don't even want to say mine. Now I
know.
feel selfish.
Make sure he knows.
feel
Well, of
selfish.
course you do. You're the better half.
I was in Nanaimo for 8 months into my career. I was very fortunate to get plucked into a major market. Obviously, I think part of that has to come to work ethic, so I can be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It was right place, right time, 100%. But being young in a major market, I definitely developed a sense of arrogance and an ego. And two things really stood out. One was I got switched my position to another position. I went from midday host to evenings and weekends. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're told you're not ready for this position, you need to go somewhere else, that's a huge humbling experience. And you can take that two ways. You can run and say, screw you, or you can say, I understand, I don't agree with it, but I'm gonna do everything I can. Remember Christy came up to me one time saying like, dude, your attitude in the hallway sucks. I've been fired for having a crap attitude.
I have.
And it stood out and I switched it. Remember that? So that was one moment that I'll definitely never forget. The other side, it actually goes to Conan. I remember when I was on middays when I just moved over to Cool, there was a little girl, her name was Natasha, and she was terminally ill. I don't know if you guys remember watching Ellen, but there was a cheerleading group that came on to Ellen one time, and this little girl was very sick, and they cheered with her, and it was amazing, and it was fantastic. Natasha was bedridden in the hospital. We did not know how much time she had left, and we did this like takeover, anything goes request hour on Cool. And we dedicated like the first good portion of that hour to Natasha. She was in the hospital with her friends and family, and she was listening. And it was like, yeah, you got your song on the radio. To us, like, great. But to her, all she cared about was a song. So we did the songs for her. Her parents didn't know we were doing as much as we did. She passed away that night.
Oh, man.
So, like, when you think about this industry, that wasn't to be like, let's all get sad. But when you think about this industry, one song, though, like, you are playing music for people. And while you might be sick of Ed Sheeran's song, maybe that was the song that pulled somebody out of depression. Maybe that was the song that let somebody come out or talk to their family about something. So there's weight behind every word you choose and every song you play. So even if you're sick of Nickelback, someone else might really like them. So those are my definite moments.
Do they really? They picked a different band.
You're over the Backstreet Boys. I'm not. Sorry. They're my
There you
first
go.
concert. They're making a huge comeback.
They're making a comeback.
I'm going. I got my tickets. Let's do this.
Excitement! Wow.
Damn.
Awesome.
They still got it. You guys are haters.
Do they? No, Backstreet Boys. Yeah.
I don't know.
This is Howie's turn, okay?
Yeah.
Damn.
Cool.
Well, I don't have any touching stories like that now, you know. I just feel-
Follow that.
Don't worry, I don't either. We'll be the assholes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, like every day, everything that comes up is so different and everything's so exciting and there's so many new and exciting opportunities. Of course, festival season for me is really exciting because I do about 10 in the summer and it's like back to back and I just, like last year was my first Shambhala, and your first Shambhala, you get all full backstage access and you meet all the DJs and but I work with like EDM and metal and country and rap and everything, so I do all the festivals. So that's really exciting. It's a busy time for me and get to meet a lot of new people, and then those people are connected to people all around the world, so it's really good networking for me as well. And I try to get involved with as many local charities and stuff as I can, and you know, put my presence known in that area. And I don't have much to give, and I don't have, you know, these big corporations behind me to be able to like play stuff on the radio or give money, but I try to just give my time.
Yeah, but you can play the bands that we don't play, so that's you're
I know,
a whole
that's-
other, you know, that's awesome.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bust my ass just to try and like put those together somehow, because it's Calgary. If you go out to a local show, Calgary. I've been all over Canada, and it has the most amount of talent in this city. And whether it's because of oil or corporate or whatever it is, there's no spotlight on the local scene here, and that's what I try to do here. I'm trying to really push that out and. Try to help lift them up in some way and get whatever contacts I make, try to line people up with that. And,
Do you want to talk a little bit about Tailor Made Radio and what you're doing with that?
yeah, I guess I kind of
Explain
I
it a
kind of
little.
explained it. I don't know. I just because I've been doing the video interviews, and so the video interviews came from the old style of like old Much Music VJs, and so I wanted it to be really exciting and fun. And my
The
interviews.
olden days, like when I was.
I love that.
There's
much
so-
music
and
back
actually-
when there was
That's what I grew up
VJs.
on.
loved
I actually
it.
get to
I miss video
interview
and
Ed the
trial.
Sock.
Oh, you do when he comes here?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, I'll do that. I like put a thing out on Twitter or on Facebook. I think he's like, yeah, we can arrange that. I'm like, yeah, that's rad. So I do really ridiculous interviews. Like, I never really want to work for a corporation or a station. One day, I hope one of my goals, I'll have my own broadcasting system and going on my own network. I'll be the next Oprah, but tailor-made somehow in a more dramatic and raunchy way, I feel. Because
Hire
I mean,
Sue and
people-
I.
I will.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor. It's all about women.
I can like hang out with
You can
like
hang out with
Haley
Carlos.
and
Yeah, okay.
watch off the iPad. And just-
Carlos, because he's gonna
Carlos
be single
too.
by then.
Right.
Oh man.
It's
He
a
just prepped our
drawbridge
show
right
for
now,
Monday.
and we've got it up.
Oh, so many ways. But yeah, so the video interviews were like a lot of them are in at events or festivals, so they're very quick, but I still make them super entertaining. Like I went to Loud as Hell and I did all the interviews there, and I think it was Jimmy Fallon, and he did these interviews with The Roots and Metallica, and he has all these like kids instruments.
yeah,
and they
yeah.
So I
That's
like
awesome.
bought all of these kids instruments, and I did that out at Loud as Hell, and all these like hardcore metal bands, and they have these little instruments, and they're all like playing their songs. It was great.
I would love that.
Yeah, it was so good. But there's a part of me too that really wants to get deeper on a more personal level, below surface level with some people. So the podcast actually happens at my house. I just invite the musicians over and we just chill in my living room for like 3 hours and hang out and talk about all sorts of things about their music, about life, about the industry, about things going on in the city. And so it gets a little bit deeper in that sense, which I really enjoy. So yeah, that's Tailor Made Radio. I don't know what I'm gonna do or where it's gonna go from it. I'm trying new things all the time and just doing what feels good and what feels right and on my path. Yeah.
Cool. What have been some major successes, biggest challenges in your careers, things that you look back on and you're incredibly proud of making it, or things where you're like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have been that rude in the hallway, or things like that?
Man, oh.
Even
roasted.
Conan's even nodding his
he is.
agreement. I mean, Conan's even.
I think Carlos is gonna make it. He's gonna do well. He'll be
Yeah.
fine.
For me, I think when I started out, just on air, and I was afraid or didn't think that I could possibly do anything else, but I learned to voice track, and I learned to do, I started doing afternoons, moved into mornings, so each step was kind of something that I was scared of doing, but I pushed myself to do it, and now there's probably nothing in a radio station that I haven't done. And I think that is super key for all of you guys too. Don't just pigeonhole yourself, whether it's radio, whether it's TV, whichever, or both, but don't pigeonhole yourself. Kind of try everything out. Writing, producing, anything and everything. Ask to be a part of all of it and give it a shot. See, first of all, what you love more than the others, but also make yourself invaluable. And I say that particularly for the females in the room, because the females in radio particularly, and in TV too, tend to be more considered a dime a dozen. The guys are treated a little better with a little more respect, are paid more, and are the ones who are usually, moved around from job to job. Women, see you later, there's another giggle girl around the corner. So you have to make yourself strong, you have to make yourself different, you have to make sure that you're invaluable, make sure that you are the most awesome that you can possibly be, and learn how to do everything so that when they say, you can't do that, yeah, actually I can do that. I've worked at just about every radio station in this city, and I can tell you that that is just a fact with radio. It just is.
That's my comment too.
Biggest challenge is that being a woman in the industry.
It is.
Yeah.
And it hasn't changed. It barely has changed. Like, how long have you been in? 20 years?
25. Yeah, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Pay equality is not there. There's the host and there's the co-host. What are you guys called?
We're
Are
co-hosts.
you guys hosts and hosts? Or are you co-hosts?
We're co-hosts.
Are you? Because it's usually
But I
the
run
guy.
the board, Sue.
Oh, do you?
I run the
Good
board.
for you. See, there you go. She runs the board. It's usually the guy that runs the board
Yeah.
and a girl that sits at the side.
It's
kind of thing.
-7. I'm great.
See? Yes. So you have to push your way
Christy,
in
we're
and
gonna
make
need
sure
you to be
that-
happier.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm not.
And it's always been the host and the co-host.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
host gets paid and the co-host gets paid
Yep.
less than half. And that's, you got to fight to make sure that that continues, that we fight that fight and you guys keep fighting that fight to make sure that that changes.
Have you? Has it been changing, like in your experience?
For sure.
Yeah.
Changing? Equal? No.
Not yet.
No way. Not even close.
Yeah.
No.
Fair.
Just a question on that, more particularly for you, Christy, because you mentioned, I'm from Fort St. John, and, I work at, the radio station with Bell. They're, board hopping on the weekends and stuff like that.
So I did the morning show at the Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I board off Sun FM, the
Yep.
Bear, and CJ ABC. How, I talked to a lot of the DJs there, and, the women especially, they talk a lot about how it's, really easy to get almost, stuck in a rut there, when you go, to some of these smaller towns or whatever, especially, when it's where you're from, or you're from nearby, so it's easy to see your family. It's really easy to get stuck in a rut and to, find these opportunities, how do you, push yourself out of that rut and into the bigger industries?
I started radio later, 24, and I was actually dating a farmer. I'm from St. Albert, so I was like, I'm gonna get married and have kids. All right, let's do this. And then I don't know, it just switched, and I just took a job the hell out of town. So I ended up at Fort St. John, which I loved. I worked at On the Rocks, the bar there too. So are you willing to take a chance and go somewhere? I think taking a chance and going somewhere, because a lot of the younger kids, and I'm not generalizing with you guys at all, but want to stay in a major market and then have a job, start getting paid, and don't want to leave. And just go. It's so much fun.
Oh my
and then
God,
you just
do it.
so much
It is
fun.
so
Moving
much
around all
fun.
the place, they pay for the move. That's the
Oh,
best
yeah.
part. You don't pay for it.
And you're in a
so-
small town and you are
Yeah.
a rock star.
Yes,
Because
you're a
there's nothing
celebrity.
else there. You are a rock star.
Yeah.
It is, honest to God, best part of it.
It is. It's so
Do it.
much fun.
Don't try and start in a major market. Go cut your chops in a smaller market. Have some fun. You guys will make some of the best friends you'll make in the industry. You'll keep them. You'll make the best connections. And it is where you learn to be better and do.
Totally.
And they'll let you do all
Everything.
those jobs. They want you to do every job. And it is the most awesome experience. I would recommend that over anything in this business, for sure.
The
Go
only way
small
I've ever been
market.
stuck is relationships. That's it.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So that's the only time I've been. So don't hold
Fortunately, you guys don't have to worry about that
back
They could
from
be co-hosts.
taking a great
They could do
job
co-hosts.
away from him.
Don't co-host with your partner.
Oh no! Good job. No.
Hey, you started it. It's the Taylor show, right? We just screwed up their love life, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, so like I work for Bell Media right now, and like a dream job for me would be like CJ, like a rock station. And right now, out of everyone, there's only one female, and that's Chris.
She's in my class.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
When I worked there was one female.
Yeah, like it seems to be like there's only
All right, girl.
there seems to be only like one female, like
That's
for,
rock.
like,
That's rock radio.
yeah, exactly. Like, what's some advice that you would have for myself to possibly make myself known or break out with that? Because, like, I worked at a old station, and that's, like, country, and sometimes they let me on the rock station, but even still, like, you get...
Are you dead set on a rock job?
I would love to.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I'm not, like, I work country and stuff, you can't really be picky, but...
Slayer's
like,
my
that would be,
favorite
like,
band,
the
and
dream.
we
Pardon?
play, Slayer's my favorite band.
Okay, Metallica's mine.
So we play like Celine Dion. But you just, if I wouldn't be dead set. I mean, I would try everything, because who gives a shit? Like, they created, like, we have a feature on our morning show. I have Monday morning metal, so I get to play metal songs, and they put in this wicked catalog for me. I get to play them before 6 a.m., but it still counts, and it's still something for me, right?
Good for you, that's awesome.
You just, I would die to be on a rock station. That's like, I was on one, but then, you know, you get offered 40 grand more, and you go somewhere else, and you go somewhere else, and you gotta, it's just, we turn down the music, and I mean, I like some songs, I don't like some songs, but it's about what you're talking about. But I hear what you're saying, and it's too bad, hey? It's too bad.
It is too
There
bad.
was, do you remember Liz?
Yeah.
Liz and another woman had a rock show on Fox in the 80s, and they were syndicated, and everyone was like, what? Two women working
Unheard
together?
of.
How dare
Where's
you?
the man?
You know?
Well, like Chris is by herself too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
she doesn't co-host or anything like that. Even if you look at the demographic on Virgin, like there's a lot more women, but the morning show is 2 men and Danae, right? So it's like, how do you?
My advice
Pierce
to you
is
would
one of
be,
my besties.
if rock radio is your passion, first of all,
Yeah.
what Christy said, don't pigeonhole yourself. Go where you get the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that will teach you also how to be better, to be working at a station that's maybe not your format. But I would reach out to her at CJ, and I would say, hey, this is what, you have my dream job. Could you be my mentor? Can I send you an air check? Can I meet you? Can I take you for a coffee? Can I pick your brains? Can I, follow you on Facebook? Can I do whatever? What can I do for you? Could I come in and just sit in and watch you do a show one day? That's what I would do.
Well, like we work very closely. Like I work very closely with her because I've been with Bell for 2 years, and we do lots of remotes with them and things like that. I spend
Ask
a
her
lot
to
of
be your
time with them.
mentor.
Yeah, and I actually been talking closely with like Diamond J, who does all of the creative aspect of radio. And
I was
see
with
lots of-
Diamond J in
Yeah.
Fort St. John.
Diamond J Terrence. So I've learned a lot from him too, just based on the fact that he's the guy that they kind of have to send their stuff to, and then he's the one that critiques a lot of it. So.
Take the female, ask her to be your mentor.
True.
And what's really cool about that too is when you ask her, she'll have her opinion, and then she'll have all the things that she's also working on for her program director. So essentially, you also ask the program director, because she's not going to be like, well, he's asking me to do this because it works for CJ, but I'm going to screw up her career. You know what I mean? Like, you should over-project. Like, no one's going to say that, right? So, like, a lot of the stuff that you're getting from her is going to stuff that she's also found that works for her, which is nice. So there's going to be no malice in it, and that's the nice thing, especially about Chris, is she's going to be brutally honest with you in a positive way. So
Podcast Diamond J Terrence sounds good.
I just want to add too that mentors are huge. Always look out for who you can learn and grow from. But I mean, and I'm not saying leave school and quit your jobs. Please don't do that. I didn't have the opportunity to even finish high school, and that's been really hard for me. Didn't go to university, didn't get any of that. But also, I don't want to be told what I can say, what I can do, what I'm going to be paid. I want to put that value in myself, and that's why I do what I do. And for the first 4 years, it was really hard, and I was eating Ichiban a lot, and I made sure my kid was taken care of, but there was a lot of struggle, and I can thankfully say that I'm doing pretty well. I work completely for myself for the last 2 years, and I get to do what I want, say what I want, and the internet and everything online is so big right now. There's so much opportunity for you guys out there that again, it's pigeonholing too. Don't think that this is the only opportunities that are available are these big corporations.
Yep.
There's so many opportunities and things you're not even thinking of that are available
Totally.
to you.
Yep.
That you could just be your own boss, and then you don't have to ask, and you don't have to be the woman who's not being told you're not good enough.
And do
getting
that on
paid
the
enough.
side too. Who was
Yes,
saying that?
totally.
That
Yeah.
you don't have enough time to do your own radio show. Do your own radio
Do it
show.
while you're working
Anybody
for
can do
someone.
that. So do it. Hone your craft that way too. For sure, find stuff that's yours on the side. Build your brand. Because
Yeah.
radio, I don't know about Taylor for you, but obviously I'm assuming it'd be the same way. But for us, we're the brand now within
Yeah.
the brand, right? So you have
Yes,
to build
yeah.
yourself to make sure that people know who you are. You're not just one of. You have your own individual identity. So build your own podcast, do your own stuff on the side, make that huge. And when you walk in, the person who doesn't have any of that, and there's two of you going up for the same job, it's yours.
Yeah, to kind of, to add to that, I don't watch the show, so I could be wrong, but what I've been told, is it Doctor Who? Is that the show?
I think there's a show called that.
Yeah, that-
I've
You're
never watched
referencing
it.
all the shows I don't
No,
watch.
but within that, I've been told that there's always it's like time travel, and there's always a different doctor. So like the nice thing is about Sue, about us, just in our side of radio, is like it's not like if Christy leaves the Christy and Fraser show, they're not going to hire the next person to be like, you're Christy, you need to do all these things. It's like, no, you're now the someone and Fraser show, or the Fraser and someone show. But like in that concept is the brand within a brand, to kind of paint that picture, is you're not just filling in, you're not an actor. You're not giving your character and said, be this. They're paying you nowadays for you. Taylor
Yeah.
Swift will end. How do you specifically say that was Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
You're right, Taylor, and it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah.
It was, you need to be this character. Here's your character. Here's your character. Now go. And
Yeah.
now you're right. It's very much who you are. You get to build yourself and be who you are. I've been in radio for 25 years. It's the very first job that I have where I'm actually allowed to say that I'm gay on air.
Really?
Amen. I love that. I love it. I'm sorry.
They
I got
hired
excited.
me so that I would say that I'm gay on air. They want me to be gay in Calgary because Calgary is so closed-minded in so many different ways. And so for all these years in radio, I've
You've
never
had
been
to
able
hide
to
it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even.
Can we applaud
Not
that?
hide
But
it.
it
Yeah,
shouldn't
let's
take
just like.
And I never hid it because that was something I never would do. I never
Yeah.
lied. I never said, oh, my boyfriend. I just would say my partner. I just said it in other ways because I refused to allow them to do that. But I was never allowed to say who I was, and that's changed. So,
That's so
yeah,
great.
it's huge now. It's very
Yeah.
different. Be who you are, for sure.
You're also on one of the most male stations and one of the most conservative stations.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
big
it's
time.
extra big because of that.
Thank you.
That's so great.
Badass, man. I think we're done now after that.
So one last question, and then anything that you guys have will be open. Are there any myths about the broadcast industry that you think we probably would have heard, that you've heard yourself, that you want to dispel at this point in time?
I don't think the money's that bad. I know. Like it's you work extra, you work remotes, and then you negotiate. That's the thing. You negotiate, you get more money, and then you negotiate for higher remotes. Everyone's like, you're not gonna make any money, but get a second job if you want to buy $500 jeans. Like, it's not that crappy. Everyone says it's crappy all the time, and it's not that crappy.
No.
At
If you
all.
work your way into
Yeah.
mornings.
Yeah, you need mornings.
It's good.
It's the people,
Yes.
you know who says like, oh, radio doesn't pay well. It's the people, like I have a friend who worked in, funny enough that it's been mentioned so many times, Fort St. John. Is it Moose FM is up there?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Moose FM.
So I had a friend, he just retired from radio. After 5 years, he graduated with myself and Chris. He retired from radio. And in my mind, I was like, how did you retire from radio if you didn't give it your best effort? He came out of it saying, I'm retiring because the money is crap. It is garbage. I said, did you send out air checks? No. When I left Nanaimo, I said, dude, you are the exact person they are looking for. He goes, no. He worked for a private radio station. I think that owns one radio station and has no networking opportunities. Everyone else is like, I work for the SPCA or I work for a grocery store, which is fantastic if that's what you're about. But the people that have put in their time and have gone from the $28,000 a year for their first job, and I think that might even be high. I don't know what you guys might have started at.
27,000 first
12,
job.
12 grand.
Wow.
Wow.
right here.
The money is there if you are willing to put in the work for
I'm
it.
old though, so it's different.
But no, it's there if you're willing to work
so
for
there.
it.
It's such
It
a
is-
lie.
it
It's
is
such
there.
the people that complain. If you does everyone know Milkman, right? Do you go ever
Milkman
on Facebook
Unlimited,
on Milkman?
yeah.
Well, somebody posted about the money, and now they're fighting under. And I've just been like peanut gallery reading it.
And those are people who are unemployed.
And they're
'cause
unemployed,
they suck.
and they're
They
spreading
suck.
this
That's
lie.
why.
It's a lie. It's
Yeah.
not crappy.
They're
The benefits
not
are
working.
amazing. Like it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Apply for more jobs. Get
Yeah.
another job. Get a bigger city.
Get
you
bigger,
know?
get better. That's why
Yeah.
I say start small. Start in
Yeah.
a small market and be the best you can be until you move to the next bigger market, and the next bigger market, and the next bigger market. And you will make more money every time as you go along, and you will get better, and people will want to hire you and want to pay you more, and you will be able to command more money
Yeah,
too.
to add to that, you said go to a small market and you're a rock star in that market. There was a gentleman that got let go. I don't know all the details, I'm not going to talk about it, but in Winnipeg, he got let go, and it came out that he was suing for a certain amount of money for a wrongful dismissal. It showed his salary. Everyone was like, you make that much in Winnipeg? When you guys start learning a bit more about it, unless you have, they're on a diary market. If you are a rock star, then people say, who did I listen to? And if they can remember your name, they write your name down. If you're bringing in $10 million to your station, maybe you can make $1 million off of that.
What did he make again? So
350,
350?
and then a
350
guaranteed
and then
$100,000 bonus
a
on
year
top of that.
bonuses.
In a smaller market.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you hustle with the bonuses. Like when you get your bonus, like it's all negotiating too.
You
Like,
can't
it's all
be fired
power plays.
for asking for more money as
Exactly.
well. It's illegal. So.
And the bonuses are so good.
There is money to be made, so
Yes.
don't listen to people who tell you that it's shitty money.
Radio's dying.
It is shitty money in a smaller
Yeah.
market, but it also costs you nothing to live in
yeah.
a smaller
Yeah.
market. And when you're a rock star, they give you everything for free.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
go to the bar and they give you drinks because you're
Yeah.
a rock star and you're bringing people into their bar.
Free movies,
So it all
free food.
And with social media,
you get
free
endorsements,
cars.
you get like,
So much.
you get stuff. Yeah. So
Don't sweat it about the money right now.
Jerry Forbes.
Jerry Forbes.
God.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Jerry Forbes would just go in and say, somebody else offered me a job. Can you give me some more money? And they would give it. And I know half the time he was lying. I know he was lying. And they would just give him a raise.
But
and
are you
it
going to
worked
call
for
him out on that and be like, I think you're bluffing?
Like, he was like, "That's Jerry Forbes. Do
I
you really want to
fucking
bluff
did.
me? No, we don't. Here's some more money.
Cool. Any questions from you guys? Andrew?
Yeah, I have a few, I guess. One of them, you quickly mentioned, Christy, radio, like radio's dying sarcastically in
Yeah.
quotes. That's said all of the time.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's not dying, but do you think that it has taken a certain hit, or like you said, you know, if you do want more money, go get a second job? I work for Bell Media as well, and I noticed that the morning show hosts, they'll do the morning show and then they'll go home, take a nap for an hour and come out and they'll do a remote for the rest of the day sort of thing. Is there more of a demand to create a presence as a radio host now to compete with streaming and podcasting, right? And things where you can really tune into the people you want to listen to instantaneously whenever you want, right?
Well, you have a choice. So that's the thing. You can choose to listen to whoever you want.
Mhm.
I think the streaming, you know, SoundCloud, all the social media, the videos, all that stuff is just an accentuation of what we're doing now. This is just making it like, you know, everyone has a podcast now. Everybody has a podcast. Everyone should have a podcast. Do it. But like most of us have podcasts because we get to like actually say,
What
go
we want.
fuck yourself.
Yes.
You know, like.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it's evolving, but it's evolving in a positive way because I mean, as soon as I started radio 13 years ago, they said radio's dying. Don't go in. You're never gonna make any money. It's all gonna be straight. And 13. I'm still. I mean, I went from Kelowna and now I'm here, and I don't.
20 years ago they were saying that.
They were saying that. They always say. I don't know why they say
People were
that.
saying that when they first created film.
Yeah.
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 Radio has outlasted all of these. different-
Radio, you know why radio will last forever is because of the announcers.
Yeah.
That's why radio will last forever because satellite radio, we started with 2 biggies. They had to merge into one because people weren't listening to it. Why? Because there are no announcers.
Yep.
There's nothing local. There's nobody for you to connect to. You can listen to music all you like, but if you're not connecting to the people, you're going to go anywhere and everywhere for your music.
And I don't want it to be like, I don't want this to be a debate or anything, but I also feel it's not going to die because they're corporations. They have a ton of money.
yeah.
And I
Yeah,
remember
they
when
do.
I was
Yeah.
working with CJ when I first started this, and how much we had to pay. And when we started, we were funding the morning show at CJ, and it was a fucking ridiculous amount of money. So no, they're never gonna die. But there's so many other options out
I
there.
don't believe it's dying either, but it's
Yeah.
a very common narrative that you hear now.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
I just wanted to hear
And
your
it will forever, but it's
It'll
not
never
true.
say that. And I think
No.
it's important that everyone works together. I still go to the stations, and people from stations that I work with come to me, and it's all about working together so we can all help
Yeah, exactly.
each other
Yeah.
grow and support one another. There should be no separation anyway.
And
Just
like
still
in,
come together.
and in addition to
Agreed.
like the side that you do and the side that we do and the side that anyone does, Andrew, was it right?
Yes.
So you might love listening to your iPod. I love listening to my iPod. You might like streaming. Who listens to satellite radio? Just show of hands. Who has it? Who has the opportunity to listen to it? Everybody.
Spotify, man.
The difference is when you're trying to get here today and there's snowfall, I know exactly what time the traffic breaks hit, probably on every station, give or take 10
Yep.
minutes. Howard Stern does not care that I'm going to be late for this panel to talk
Yeah.
to you guys.
It's not
so,
local.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no immediacy to that side of it. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. So when we talk to people sometimes, and we'll go into events, be like, "Do you listen?" And they're like, "Sorry, I listen to my iPod." I'm like,
That's cool.
it's not like a bad word. It's
Yeah.
fine. You know how many iPods
Relax,
are sold?
it's fine.
We play music off our iPods. Shh, don't tell the CRTC. But like, no, it all goes. I'm telling them. It all goes hand in hand.
Say that in front of Sue.
Passing my phone.
I am so talented.
Taylor?
You,
Yeah.
Taylor. Thank you.
I meant like we, like hypothetical we, like the VU form of we in French.
Cool with the C.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that station.
Cool,
like,
cool
what?
AM with a C. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a battle because there's
Yeah.
like, I don't like live music. I like.
People love to do. They love to make.
No, I
Yeah.
I would never.
There's lots of money out there. There's lots of advertising still on radio. There are, it's smaller. The radio world got smaller, so there are fewer jobs out there. So that's why I say too, at Rogers, when I was there, that was my last company, everybody did 3 jobs because that's the way that they've, kind of reduced the workforce and they're saving money that way. But that being said, Rogers is still a massive powerhouse, so it's not dying. Never will.
Any other questions? Andrew, do you have another one?
Yeah.
I still
Yeah,
took
you're
a
on
note.
camera, by the way.
No, I meant like hypothetically, like
Rewind.
we play off our iPods.
I play off
Yeah.
my iPod and I have clearance, so.
We'll just go to
Mid
black.
talk, and then it just cuts to Sue on the end. It's like, where did that 30 seconds go? I don't know.
So you mentioned building your portfolio as well, creating air checks, sending them out, finding a mentor if radio is what you want to do. But what do you think would be more important? Because as a full-time student who has 2 jobs and other interest obligations, whatever, I don't think it would be feasibly possible for me to create a whole bunch of air checks, network myself really effectively, and have a job with Bell Media that's also creating a network as well. In your opinions, which one had more value to your careers specifically? Not which one do you think is better, which one benefited you?
Damn.
Either networking
For that
with
question.
jobs
Yeah, that was
or
great.
sending out the air checks and finding a mentor.
I would say sitting in a control room, even if you're already at Bell, go sit in a control room. Just hang out and listen and learn that way.
Yeah, hands-on experience is everything.
Yeah,
Like going out and just learning and doing stuff, that's huge.
And I know if you don't have time, it's, it's not, you can't be running around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, but once a month you have an hour.
Yeah.
Find somebody who will go out and have a coffee with you for an hour. Pepper them with all the questions. Write down the questions that you have for a whole month, and then just hammer them with every question you've got. If you can spare 1 hour, I think that would do you a world of good.
And certainly everybody does have an hour.
When you guys are at Bell, are you able to like talk to the PDs there and say like, hey, can I do voice tracking like a couple hours overnight and just test it and will you hear it?
Yes.
Can you ask them to do that? I mean, if you like, they might dig their heels in a little bit, but at least you're asking. You're like, can you set up at least mock voice tracking for
Yeah.
me so I can practice with our
gonna say, it doesn't
format?
even have
And
to
then you
go
can
on
hear
air.
it and then air check me. It's not gonna like cost them any time.
Yeah.
If they say no, just say you're being lazy and I'm going to work at Pattison. Okay?
It might take 9 or 10 months, but if you at least put it out there.
But that's that follow-up that even Sue mentioned, like
Yeah.
right when we first started this thing, right? They are busy people. I'm not saying I'm not saying you're not worth their time, but they might have forgotten that
Yeah.
like, oh, that was another email that came in. And then on the flip side to that, like when you said like which one's more important, the question to throw back is like, why does it have to be one of those options? I don't know if you guys follow on Instagram. His name is Gary Vee. He is an entrepreneur. He was one of the first people to ever start a wine subscription internet thing. His dad owned a wine store. He started it. He made millions. He invested in Twitter. He invested in Facebook. His goal is to buy the Jets in New York, like the New York Jets. So he says, though, in a lot of his stuff, if you will follow him, if you haven't, follow him. Radio is a business at the end of the day. So if you come home from your job and your job is just to give you money to start your dream, put in that extra hour. Put in that extra 2 hours. Whoop-de-doo. When it says, are you still watching this on Netflix? Hit, no, I'm not watching this. And now you have 42 minutes to do the next thing. Send it out. I remember sitting in a classroom one time on my laptop, and I said, where do I want to work? Kelowna. Okay, there's Easy Rock. There's Sun FM. There's The Juice. There's another Sun FM in Vernon. I can make that work. Who are the PDs? Winsco.
You are so cute.
But you start sending it out. You just start creating an email list. And then it's a once a month blast. And it's like, hey, if you get time, and maybe one person gets through to you, and that one person, though, is where you got your internship and now your job. So, like, it's what you make it as well. The classroom does not guarantee you anything. They're doing everything they can to teach, you know, the most common, what do you need to succeed? But it all comes back down to you guys. You pay to be here.
You have to bust your ass.
Sorry, one more time. What was the name real quick that you mentioned? The wine guy?
Oh, Gary Vee on Instagram. I've been like, Jeff Winsco? No.
Gary,
Why don't you
Gary
come in
Vee.
and sit with old Taylor?
Like the letter V?
Yeah,
Why don't you come sit with Taylor?
Sorry, yeah, it's
I
Gary
was just gonna
Vaynerchuk
say
is his
that.
name, but Gary Vee. And yeah, I subscribe to his post, and if I get a chance to open it, you open it. So he's unreal. Tells it as it is.
I just offered you a show to. He's
Yeah.
come sit on your show.
Come sit in.
Carlos, do you have a
Ask my
question?
boss first. I'm kind of scared of her. It's fine.
She's awesome, actually. She would
Yeah.
definitely mentor anybody. Or if our boss is the kind of like she started in promo and now she's the PD. She takes it seriously, and
Amanda?
she's all about. Well, you met her.
Yeah,
you guys already met Amanda.
The third years did get to meet her. So
Okay.
yeah, for you guys in second year, Conan sets up Wicked panels, and he will set you up with some really good opportunities, similar to this one, hopefully, and take advantage of
She's
them.
amazing.
She
and
was
she
gonna be
buys
a
really
lawyer.
good gifts. Like she buys you presents.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
My boss.
She buys us like good gifts.
Carlos, do you have a
That's
question?
Yeah, I guess some questions, some comments. So I also work for Bell, and I've been sitting in.
Who works for Bell?
I used to
Yes.
work for Bell. I used to work
Okay.
for Bell.
How did it? That's all.
I'm really glad you guys all have your
The
jobs.
Mount Royal
first of all.
campus. There's like a funny FM.
Nice work, Conan. Nice work.
Yeah. So just to answer your question, like I've been sitting into in Andrew's show. He does the night shows, and you know at first he's around my age, and I'm kind of looking for a mentor right now because. I guess here's my question. What should I look for in a mentor? Because I've been sitting in with Andrew, and I did not expect him to know so much about radio just because he was so young. And I sat in his show, and I learned so much in like 2 hours. And it like I don't know if I should. How do I approach him and be like, yo, can you be my mentor?
Did you say that?
I'm just like,
Maybe
And that's really
please,
nice.
Please, on the end of it, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I would just ask. It's very flattering. Think
It
about
really
it. We
is.
feel like losers most of the time. So like this is a big deal. I'm gonna be riding this moment for a while.
But I mean, if you guys
Just
have
ask.
some tips on like what a mentor should look like, or
Who do you like? I mean, Melissa Wright, who you know, is like her mother did the midday show at this rock station, and like you want to be in a rock station. So I was in love with. Her mother had a job, and her mother's like, I'm gonna retire. My daughter's got a sweet voice, and that's how you got a job in radio then.
Back in the day.
And so she took
Back in
over
the good old
middays
days.
and did middays at a rock station forever, man.
Yeah.
She was just cool. She was the real deal, and I loved her, and I loved listening to her. So then when I did my career, we had to interview and do like an essay about them, and I did, and we're still friends. Like she's amazing, and she's still like I sent her stuff right at the beginning. And she was always available to help me. Somebody you click with, right?
Yeah.
You have a connection, you like them, you like their style, you like their kind of attitude, then pick them. If that's how you feel about this guy.
yeah, he's super cool.
He's available.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Not
I
to
like your
steal.
personality.
But you know what though? Like that's like the irony to that. Like if you've related to anything we've said, where Sue might be a great mentor for you, she might not be the best for you, and vice versa. Because like you might have a different skill set than what I can offer, and I am very meticulous when it comes to my detail and how I do things, and I want to be a programmer. So if you were to ask me, and I have some people that I do mentor, and they send me air checks, I've seen some people in our building when they're like, "Hey, can you critique this?" Their eyes light up like, I'm going to shit on you. And it's like, you'll read it. And I had someone read it. And I'm like, but where's the positive? They're not there yet. I'm like, well, congratulations, you're off their list. So if you were to ask me, I'd be like, hey, this is what I think about you. Not like, well, here's my opinion. Like it's not about that. But often in this industry, you can find people that might have a certain arrogance to how you might want to learn. And that might not be the best fit.
Well, they're probably not even going to mentor you, first of all,
Yeah.
if you run into somebody like that.
If they just send you back their air check,
They're best of. Here's the best of me.
Yeah.
Where do people like that? 'Cause you obviously have to exist in the same room.
Yeah.
How do you just put your head down and smile and wave?
Talk
and
behind their
let them out of
backs.
the room?
Do you go on your podcast?
yeah.
You are
Exactly.
gonna meet some assholes, but
You know what? Learn from them though, because there are a lot of assholes
Yeah.
in this business. Learn from them. Learn what you should not do.
Yeah.
Learn what you
Yes.
look at them and go, oh my God,
There's
I
always a
will
lesson.
never do that.
who you don't want to be.
Don't be.
Yeah.
And that's is going to be as good a mentor as the person who is going to give you good advice, right? So learn from those people. And there are a lot of them out there. They don't last very long, but there are a lot of them out there, and you can learn some great lessons from them.
The broadcast world understands who those assholes
For
might
sure.
be.
Yeah.
Gets passed around
For
years,
sure.
right?
So we've got time for a few more questions. So I know you got a family dinner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abdi, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
Mine's not a question, it's just more like,
I love that
I
hat.
think one
Yeah.
It's
You look great.
One thing that
I'm sorry.
Is that a jaunty angle even?
one thing that I really appreciate about I think the program is kind of like learn how to deal with assholes. Because I've like, there are some of them that I just deal with like on a regular basis in like school. So I feel like that has been like,
You know we're all in the same room.
Choose your next words very carefully.
We're in a safe space.
He's right behind you.
Yeah. We've already caused one relationship today before you got here to separate, so yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna make them stronger. They're fine.
Any other questions that you guys wanted to ask?
I just have one quick one.
Ask away.
What's he done?
Did he?
I know
you
I
didn't
kinda
ask
wanted
your
to hear the
question.
rest of that,
What was your
though.
question?
That was the
Are
comment.
you done?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
no, I'm just kind of, I don't have a question, it's just more like just.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
And also, I feel like the comment about like radio is dying or whatever, and you said that the personality is what makes radio. For me, when I came to this program, I didn't like radio. I was here for video, and then in the process, I just like learned to appreciate and like love audio, like producing and everything. And till today, since I joined this program in September 2017, I still listen to Nicholas Grimshaw. Do you know him? He's
I do not.
he's super famous, he's super big. So I still listen to his UK radio show
I feel like
every
we should
time.
know.
So
I
at one
know, me
point,
too.
you should listen to me, super big. He used to have a morning show, and it would air I think at like 1 a.m. here, because there's like 6 a.m. like in the UK. So I would listen to it, and then I think that's what kind of gave me my love for radio and everything. So just to kind of like build on that point, like you would listen to it. I would skip the music because I don't like the UK music, like the rappers.
And that's a great point. Listen to announcers from the US, from Canada,
Australia,
from the UK.
they're good in Australia.
Find, and just go all over the place. Look on, find anybody and everybody and listen to them and pick little bits that you like and make it yours.
It's like religion. You just pick kind of what you like.
And then throw the other stuff out the window.
I don't want
Smush
that.
it together.
I'll take
It's
that.
not gonna work for me.
Totally fine.
Carlos?
Okay, so yeah, something that I've learned this semester is really don't close doors, don't close opportunities. Because I'm like a big hip hop guy, but I don't want to just focus on hip hop. Because what if,
Especially not in Calgary.
Market this song.
You can close that door. I'm kidding.
So like I said, especially in Calgary. So I don't know if this is a problem, but I would love to work in a country station just as a start. But I'm really scared that a small place like Olds isn't going to believe a small little brown guy saying, I love Luke Bryan. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of scared.
I'm from
about
Cremona and Didsbury, and Cremona's a village
You're
of
from
400 people, so I'll tell you right now, you'll do fine out
right,
there. I'll
girl.
take you myself.
I played hockey there.
You'll do fine, yeah.
I mean,
played
country
hockey in
radio is
Cremona.
not
Really?
what it was
Crazy.
20 years ago. Christy, when she came to Calgary, she went to Wild 95.3. She was the morning show host with Fraser. And if you guys have seen Fraser, what
He's
part
like
of
the
him
hairiest-
screams country?
Both of us
I didn't
are
realize he has
kids.
such a
We're
big beard.
I don't know if
If
people
you haven't-
believe this.
If you haven't seen Fraser, remember that scene when Robin Williams comes back from Jumanji? He's like, what year is it? He got that big old beard. That's Fraser, like
Yeah.
to paint a picture. But like,
Well, Fraser worked at Access. He did mornings for almost 10 years. So
Yeah.
he worked at we started at the country station together and moved over to Cool. And like, you think Fraser wants to backsell Mariana's Trench? Oh my God, I love watching his face. But like,
he called Taylor Swift's delicate delirium.
yeah,
Like,
but they wasn't paying
but
attention.
I don't care.
But that's like, I don't know. You just find a station that works for you. And honestly, if they're tight ass like that and like that.
And it's kind of changing now. Two people
Yeah.
like a brown guy
Yes.
working for a country station. They like a gay chick
2018.
working for a
Yeah.
super right-wing
Totally.
talk radio
Exactly.
station. It's changing.
Because I am
No.
shy, but I'm just like, hey, like my name's Carlos. I'm working at a country station. You know what I mean?
so what's your
That's
background?
probably not your best way in. Hey, I'm Carlos. I want to work at.
What's your background? You're a brown guy with Carlos as your name.
So my parents are from El Salvador.
Okay. So, but like, is it Kane Brown, Darius Rucker? Like, they're not. No, but no, I'm saying who need, you don't need to be a white guy on a country station.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a white artist.
They're
you know?
like, I love my truck and my wife. The white guy with the jeans and the like.
Truck nuts.
That's over. It's over.
Okay, well that's kind of what I wanted to
It's
hear
over.
because it's almost like I was scared to not be accepted in a small town, especially in Alberta. I'm kind of scared to venture out in Alberta in a small town.
It is scary out there. I won't lie there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they'll totally
You
accept
find people
there.
who love you because
Yeah.
you're you and you're
Yeah.
awesome, and you'll find people who won't like you, whether you're brown, white,
Yeah.
male, female.
I don't want to be racist. I'm just, I was just.
No, but
No, but you're right
it's a-
though.
it's
But
a-
you are
You're
right.
right, it's Alberta.
like,
and you don't want to
Yeah.
work there. Before
No.
I went into radio, I played baseball, and I had an opportunity to go down on a full ride scholarship to Kansas to a junior college to play. And the guy said, "What's your background?" I said, "I'm Jewish." And the first thing he says, "Don't tell people that." And I was like, "Yeah, good one." He goes, "No, actually, like, it's just easier if you don't." Could have gone. Why would I want to? If they're like, you know what, like, don't
Yeah.
tell people you're from El Salvador. It's like, well, that's not fair. Because like you said, it's the personalities now, and it's your brand. So the guy in Manitoba that wasn't going to give you any days off, don't work for him. Like,
Yeah.
you'll find a job in this industry.
And for like you said you like hip hop, but you want to do the country. Do you like country, or you're just doing that because you have to in this industry?
Well, because I've been told, especially this semester, like, don't just do hip hop. Like, you got to know your rock, you got to know your hip hop, your country. And I mean, my dreams to go to Toronto were at the move. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I'm just saying, like, if you ever, I don't know if you go out to things much, if you ever get a chance, go to 10 at 10. It happens once a month at Commonwealth. Benny Johnson runs that, and he's huge across North America within that scene. And you go there, and you're going to make an insane amount of contacts that you might not even have to go do the country thing. You go shake some
Yeah.
hands, and again, you're already in Toronto, or you know somebody in
Don't
Toronto.
force yourself
Go
to be
meet
something
people.
you're not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's no point in that. Don't do it.
Because I was told that I should today.
Who told you that? Conan? Conan.
Conan, for God's sakes, Conan.
It's a girl running it, isn't it?
I am
if
pop radio through and through. That's me.
Yeah.
I my bread and butter is pop culture. Cheesy jokes, God, they're bad.
So many.
But
You'll
you know what I
make
mean?
a
Like,
good
that's me.
dad.
I love the Mariana Trenches of the world. Sorry, but like, it shows through the music. If you put me on country, I can learn to love it. But like, if you want the best Taylor Daniels, I tend to be surrounded by pop music. That's just me.
And don't talk in third person.
Yeah.
Like that
It
is
was
like
a branding
actually.
thing.
Can
It's
everybody
not
put their
my
hand
real
up and said, "I will not talk in third person."
Yeah.
My real name is
Ever.
Lance. It's not Lance. It's not. Almost was.
Is that the Backstreet Boys thing?
No, that was
Oh, that
NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Yeah.
Never mind.
That was my. They wanted me to be called Lance. For sure.
You would not rock Lance.
Thanks. I went with Riley.
And don't
instead.
change your name unless you want to. either.
Yeah, don't change your name.
Right.
Oh,
Do not change your name unless you want to.
right? Daniels.
Cool.
Middle name.
So
I know.
I want to get you guys out of here on time because you do have some other obligations, but I also want to give you guys some chance to, if you want to grab, I don't know if you guys brought any business cards. I did not ask you
Oh.
to,
Business
but
cards.
we've got our own. So if you guys don't have,
Make business cards.
They
Yeah.
give me those.
Like this with them.
Yeah.
if you guys
Mr.
don't
Fritz,
have a
get your,
notebook or anything,
that's a great point.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Vista Print, you
Make
get
business
500
cards.
for 20
Yes,
bucks.
with all your
Make
social
your
media
own
on it
business
and
cards.
stuff.
Every time you meet
100%.
somebody,
Yeah.
your club has
Do it.
business cards for you to
do
use.
it.
Yay. If you guys want, if you have notebooks, use them. 'Cause we've only got like 20 of these, and you probably want to get as many contacts as you can. But yeah, if you guys want to, feel free. We'll take a couple minutes to get you guys de-mic'd.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for
joining
having us.
us.
This was fun.
That was awesome.
Thanks for letting us bring wine. Thanks, Conan.